So can you make any sales via Instagram stories, even with a very small following? I did that. I had all these clothes that were going to donation actually. And then I was like, overnight I decided I'm gonna try to make a sale on Instagram stories. And have I made any sales? Let's find out. So I'm gonna share with you everything I did, everything that happened, what I sold, how much I made, and everything. So then you might be able to do it for yourself, because you might also have a small following, or you have a big following. What happened is I'm always upcycling stuff. If you see my other videos and stuff, that's how I make a living. I always sell, but I sell mostly locally, right? And so I keep accumulating. I have been selling for a long time, like almost 30 years. That age me, but anyway. But I have stuff like that's like 15 years ago I made, because I always save and then I mix in next year and stuff. But some stuff just like haven't sold, and I thought, okay, I've been cleaning my studio, and I thought, you know what, this stuff is gonna go. And I put the stuff in the car last week or 2 weeks ago, but then I had to do a market, so I had to take everything out of my car, and they're all here in bags. And then I was looking at them and I was like, there's cool stuff here. So why don't I try? And then it was Memorial Day weekend, and I know a lot of brands do sales on this weekend. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna try and make a flash sale on Instagram stories. So I prepared everything, and here's how I did it. So I had to take everything from the bag, the first step, right? And then it was all wrinkled, so I had to steam everything. I took all the pieces, hung on hangers, put on a clothing rack. I separated vintage from my creations. I sell both. I'm not selling much vintage stuff anymore, but I used to, so I have some cool designer stuff and my own creation. So I separated them in groups and I steamed everything. And then I also open a Google Sheet, because I had to list everything that I had, right? And especially because I had to write all descriptions. So, details and descriptions. I also coded everything. So I have those little codes for live sales that I've done a couple times. And so I put those codes on every piece. And then on a Google Sheet, I named everything, wrote the descriptions and the price. And so I had everything ready for when I was gonna post on stories. Because the thing is, maybe you are able to write descriptions very fast, but I'm not. So I like to have everything ready. So then when I was gonna post on stories, I just copy and paste. Okay, so I had all together, and then I announced, all of a sudden, I announced like with 24, even less than 24 hours in advance, I announced on my Instagram that I was gonna have that event. And I also put the reminder so people could set a reminder for themselves. And you wouldn't believe that I actually, because I need glasses now, and I'm usually not wearing my glasses because just reading glasses, and I can't see very well. So then I set the timing wrong. It was for much later, but it worked regardless. Anyway, so then, I pushed that, I put the reminder, people set the reminder, and then I kept working. So then I thought, it was later on the day, so it was dark. I couldn't really take good pictures because I like natural light. So then I left for the next day, the day that I was gonna open, right? My stories was gonna start. And then on the next day, I came to the studio early, and all the clothes were steamed and nice. So then I took pictures of everything. That takes not much time. And it's not like from my website that I had to take nice pictures. I just took real quick pictures because it was sale, right? Things are like, a shirt that I sell for $150 was like $40. There was stuff for $20, very cheap. And as I started posting, people started to claim, right? So, before I posted everything, I made like on Canva, I made a graphic with the rules. It's very important. You have to have the rules, because people don't know how they're gonna buy, right? I wrote the rules, how they could buy. People started to claim pieces. And then as I was like talking to them and posting, I kept posting. I would take more pictures because I had almost 100 items. It was 80 something. So then, I couldn't do all at once, but that was good because the posts were spreaded over time. And so it lasted all day next day, right? Stories last 24 hours. And what I sold, I'm gonna tell you what I sold, but before, let me tell you what was good, what I learned from this, right? The pros and cons. One thing was really good was that my following went up because, when you post stories, it creates engagement, right? So then more people saw the posts because I was posting all day. So that helps the algorithm, and then more people are following me. Total transparency, I do have a bigger account. So that account that I sold, I made the stories, I have 1,400 followers. But I do have a larger account, the Wardrobe School account, that's like, it's not that big, it's like 14,000 followers. And so I shared on that account. But keep in mind, my Wardrobe School account, that's the bigger account, it's very international. And I was only selling via stories to the US. And so, you know, it was not much people, and it was not many people. And also the Wardrobe School account is more people who are following me because they want to learn sewing and stuff, not really buying my stuff. That's why I have two accounts, right? But just so you know, I had that, you know, a couple people that followed from my big account, but also I got new followers, probably because people were sharing and stuff. So that was really good. The other thing is I revived all those clothes and I do have a plan for that, maybe because now I have them all there. And so, you know, it's good to see that. The most important part that I learned is that those things that were really old, you know, like 10 years old, I made them like 4 years. A lot of stuff I made in the pandemic, and they were more like colorful and cool for Instagram, but it wasn't like sellable in person because I usually sell in person. So that's a very cool thing to learn, that not everything that is like very flashy on Instagram or like on the internet, people buy in person, right? So it has, this is another video we can talk about the product that how you create a product that people really buy, because some stuff that like I got a lot of likes on Instagram back when I made them, but then when people see in person, they don't buy, you know? The other thing is currently I used to like make more stuff and make like a different color, like a crazy, you can see on my Instagram, like I make a lot of crazy stuff. But lately I still make like upcycled pieces, but I'm mostly focused on embroidery. And so my following, it's followed by people who are interested in my embroidery. So then when I threw at them a bunch of vintage stuff, a bunch of old upcycled colorful patchwork stuff, it's not really what they're looking for. So then it didn't sell as much as if I had. I think they were expecting a lot of embroidered pieces, but I didn't make sales. Now let me show you what I sold. And that's applique I did. This one also is applique I did, and I made a long time. I haven't sold yet. Now it's sold. This one, that was my embroidery. It's a silk shirt. This one that I made from scratch is a jacket. This one that I hand paint with markers. This bag that I made, it's like a market bag. This top that I really like is upcycled from a sweater. This t-shirt, that's my print that I print with carved stamps. And I always sell them. This hasn't sold for a long time and finally did. It's a really cool design. This one I draw on the pieces, the silk blouse. This one is also with my classic embroidery. And I always do this embroidery on white shirts and they sell right away, but this black one haven't sold, so but now in the sale it did. This dress that I made was actually a class that I did showing how to make this dress, and it sold. This bag that is upcycled from a jacket, it was like a leather coat, and then I made this. This is a dress that I love. I made from silk scarves. Look, it's very light and soft. This shirt was an experiment that I did, but it's really cute. It's like a lace applique. And then finally, this one line embroidery on a shirt. And now the question is, should you try that? You should absolutely try. By the way, yes, I did make I think it was $771, which was awesome because it was something that I was gonna donate or take to Beacon's Closet, which is a store in New York that you go and they buy stuff, but they pay very little for it. So and now I have those pieces. I'm considering putting them on Etsy for a very low price. Not because I like to sell on Etsy, but I have an old account there, and those pieces could like attract people to my account, you know, just like as a traffic to my own site. That's another story. But that is, and why you should try. I believe that the best way to get started selling your creations, crafts, sewing pieces and all is locally. I even have a video here that you can watch. I share like ideas on how you can make a booth that will be successful. I've been selling for 20, 30 years. So, you know, that's a good way. But selling on Instagram, if you have like 500 to 1,000 followers, something like that, you can do it. You know, you can get started, you can test the market, you can test the waters. I have a student who, she had like 500 followers and she wanted to do like a pop-up online, and she did via Instagram without any tag or anything, and she sold. So it's a great way for you to start. So go ahead and try. Let me know how it goes, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.